Hey, this is Jamie at Useful Knowledge. So I just swapped out my old gas stove top for a brand new gas stove top. Stay tuned, I'm going to show you how to install a new gas stove top. Okay, the first thing you want to do is cut off your gas supply. So there's our turnoff valve right there. It's actually up under the cabinet, so it won't go that way. There we go. Now the gas is off. Okay, once I have the gas turned off, I like to check it. Shouldn't be lighting. It may light and burn just a little bit, but this one is not. So the gas is definitely off. Now we're going to unplug it. Next, we're going to unplug the old stove. So that's unplugged. Okay, once we have the gas supply turned off and the stovetop unplugged, we want to disconnect the flex hose from the gas supply line. So when you disconnect the gas stovetop from the supply line, you might smell a little gas, and actually you're smelling the mercaptan in the gas. Don't be alarmed, that's normal. Okay, once you disconnect the stovetop from your gas supply and you unplug it from the power source, make sure all your eye hardware is off of here. And then all we're going to do is use a butter knife to get up under here. We're going to tape this guy up. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm just cleaning up around here with some vinegar on a paper towel. It's amazing how much grease and gunk can get around where your stovetop has been, even though you clean it every day. Now, one thing to note, double check that your opening will support whatever new gas stove is going in here. A lot of manufacturers will actually keep the same size on every stove that they build. So double check that. If you're changing manufacturers, then you may have an issue, and you might have to actually enlarge the opening in your countertop. We got this cleaned up, we're going to dry it off, and we're going to unbox our new one. Okay, well here's the new stove. We're going to see what has to be done to unbox this dude. First we're going to get these off. Looks like box cutter time. Well, there it is. These are the grates. Put them over here. Okay, well here it is. And it looks really cool. I wanted this big eye right in the middle. That's one of the things I really wanted, so I'm excited about that. We're going to get this out of the box and we're going to get it over here in the hole in the countertop. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we got to put a regulator on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put me a little piece of this packing tape around here, because I'm going to be grabbing a hold of this with basically some channel locks, just to make sure this doesn't strip out anything up in the stove, because we've got to put a regulator on here. So I don't use Teflon tape. I would rather use the pipe thread sealant. I think it does a lot better job. So we're going to put this all on these male threads of this supply going into the stovetop. Okay, I want to show you how I fill the pipe threads up on the supply going into the stovetop. Basically, I use pipe thread sealant, also known as pipe dope, and all I'm doing there is just basically where the threads are, you're just covering that with this pipe thread sealant. Okay, once we get our pipe thread sealant on, we're going to put on the regulator that was included with the stove. Okay, once you get this hand tightened, what we're going to do now is we're going to hold the inlet pipe of the gas stove with just some channel locks. And then we're going to tighten this up. It's probably going to take a few revolutions before it gets good and tight. Alright, that's good and tight. Now we're going to put in our flex hose, and that's going to go up into here. Okay, so we've got our thread sealant on the end of this fitting that's on the flex hose. So what I think I'm going to do to make this easier, I'm going to take this fitting off of the flex hose, and we're going to actually screw it in up on the regulator. Okay, so we're going to take this fitting and we're going to screw it into this regulator. And we're going to tighten it up. All right, she's in there good. Okay, this is a fitting leading from our supply line. So notice, I only have pipe thread sealant only on the threads. You do not want it up here at this inward flared part that's actually going to connect to your flex hose. Now, I think many folks nowadays are not even using the pipe thread sealant on the threads here for these type of connections, but I still do. That's how I learned probably 30 years ago to do this, and I'm going to keep doing it because I know it works. So we're going to connect this up and we'll be done. Okay, as I stated earlier, you only want your pipe thread sealant on the threads. You don't want it down here in this curved part of the connector. So now we're going to put on the flex connector. Okay, we're connected up. All we have to do now is plug it in, set up our burners and our grates, and turn on the gas. Okay, one of the biggest selling points to me of this new gas stove was there is a really cool cast iron griddle that goes along with it. I'm really excited about using this and just the whole stove. Okay, one thing I want to show you is how I bent the flex line. You can see my bends are very large. You don't want a tight, almost kinked flex line. Okay, let's talk about leaks. Your first line of defense for leaks for natural gas or propane is going to be your nose. And the reason is because gas companies are required by law to add an odorant to natural gas and propane. Otherwise, you couldn't smell the natural gas or propane at all. So this odorant is usually some variant of what's called mercaptan. And that's what smells like, kind of like a boiled egg. All right, so again, that's your first line of defense. Secondly, you can mix up a solution of dish soap and water and actually put it around your fittings. Now I suggest you mix it up kind of thick with dish soap, because in a vertical setup like this, and if you're putting in a gas stovetop, you're going to have something like this, you want to make it kind of thick so that the soapy water actually kind of sticks around these fittings. And you can check for leaks like that. You want to get it all the way around. Now you may have to really get in there to look and make sure everything's on the backside. But again, your nose is going to tell you straight up that you have a problem. Okay, we have it installed. Final thing we want to do is turn on the gas. Okay, now this will take a second to light because we still got air in the line, so let's see what happens. There it is. So we hope you gained some useful knowledge on how easy it is to install a gas stove. Now obviously, if it's illegal in your area or you're concerned about installing a gas appliance by yourself, hire someone to come do it that is a certified gas plumber. Thanks for watching.